Hi, I'm Cesar Santos, and today I have a surprise. Nah, just kidding. No surprises. It's just me living in a van, traveling around and painting. I'm here in Iowa. We are in Eldridge, and I'm painting a landscape I saw in a very weird way because now I have so much beauty around me all the time. Beautiful sunrises, beautiful sunsets, but I don't want to be dependent on those beautiful moments for me to express myself. I want to see if I can find something that is particular to me. And if I walk around an area and I like it for some reason, that I can explore into it. So for instance, something that might look random at first and simple, but once you spend time looking at it, you start seeing more beauty in it. It's like anything, if we go deeper, it gets more interesting. So instead of going to a faster image that feels the depth immediately, I'm deciding to go into specific areas that are a little bit more subtle, that the beauty is hidden, and I have to bring it out somehow with paint. And that forces me to get used to the exploiting all the powerful aspect of my palette and to be subtle with color changes. That there is a reason why the scene wasn't at first calling the attention to everybody to enjoy it, but nature has its ways and mystery to work in harmony, and it took time to develop any corner, the same corner. It doesn't matter if it's a sunset or whatever time, any area is full with life, is full with variety, is full with beauty. I want to go into that and see if I can bring it out somehow so I can feel it and live a fuller life myself. And in turn, other people can see it and enjoy it and see things from my point of view. This morning I'm here painting. I saw this beautiful kind of hill where I don't see the other side, and I said, okay, I'm gonna sit down and paint it. But as I'm painting it, they just cut the grass. So the guy was here, I was enjoying the pattern of the flowers. The guy came and cut the grass. 70% of my area in my painting was the ground, and they cut the whole design. So instead of complaining or getting upset, I just realized that it's not a good idea to stay in campgrounds if you want to paint the floor. But at the same time, it gave me a good punch. I mean, I don't know, I like that kind of like the mystery of the quietness of the scene at first, but then the guy came, did what he did, and revealed a new aspect of it. I kind of added him to the composition. Now he's competing with my main focus. Before was the little bush over there on top of the hill. My composition here started only with two simple masses: the sky, which is cloudy like that, kind of gray, and then the bottom ground. When I squint, this whole thing becomes one value if we come to simplify it. The little mass of bush here was darker because it has more shadow, it has volume, so it's casting shadow within it, inside of it, and then it's giving more contrast with the sky. But since it's far away, I don't want to make it too contrasty, too saturated as I see it, so I kept it kind of under the weather, under the space. The guy I sharpened, I wanted him to take control of the painting and call more the attention. So on him, I added those same colors, combination of purples, greens, yellows, but in a sharper way to describe the motion. The bottom part closer to us, I'm trying to represent the texture closer to me with the flowers on top, and then by him cutting it creates a nice difference and almost even a value change, becoming darker because all the light, longer leaves that were bending and catching light, and the little flowers were lighting the whole ground up. So the moment he passes through it, he cuts it, but at the same time it cannot be darker than that little wall, the height of this mass here, triangular mass, because of the plane is facing the light, so it has to keep light. But now my issue will be to contrast this to this in terms of texture. If I think about it, when he cut it, it's now short, everything is kind of similar, spiking upward, a little bit of dirt closer to the ground, so maybe there's a little bit of warm touches. So that'll be the contrast between that part and this. After I have simplified my bigger masses, I can come back with a small brush and just hint at the details. Not to create the whole thing out of details, but just to add enough details on top that makes the eye feel what the essence of the space is, what the area is made of. I want to keep this sharper because I want this line to come into the ground. Maybe I can even darken a little bit here to continue that sharp line to make it feel that it's overlapping. But I want to keep the front a little bit with texture because he hasn't cut that part yet in the painting. So I want to create the sense of longer grass in front of him. Maybe also I can increase the idea of some overlaps of grass on top of his machine there. That way it feels also that next to him is a taller grass. Now this is tricky because it's far away, so I don't want to create so much tension here that it feels flat. I want this area to come closer to us, and I'm going to be playing with the idea of perspective too. My patterns will be moving towards him, increasing the tension I want to create with him. As I'm deciding what to put in this here, I'm thinking always to put more information closer to us. That way it draws in and then it invites us inside towards the main subject. Oh, Vale, I think it's better if we move that way because he missed the tall grass over there still showing flowers, so he didn't cut an area there. I want to get closer, even though it's a different lighting condition, but I want to see some information so that I can develop this area here a little bit better. So let's move. Now I need more oil. At least it's natural oil, it's not gonna kill any plant, I think. Linseed oil is pretty natural. That's what I'm spreading. The palette is perfectly fine. Oh well, I was gonna pick up anyways. Actually, this grass here is taller even than what I had here before. So I'm gonna take advantage of that and increase the height of it here so it looks even more bushy and tall, and then it will create even more contrast with the part that is cut. I could play around here with this overlapping masses around here. Nature has all that you need. You need to become more sensitive to your surroundings and not expect the school to make you an artist. If you feel like painting, just paint and explore. You have to create a technique that is suited to what you want to present. Schools will teach you a standard that is applicable to every student. Art is self-expression, and in a way you have to feel that you're developing your own technique. Go to nature, look at its colors, look where it's cool, look where it's warm, look why it's calling the attention, and work on it. I left the idea of having the studio in a comfortable place in my house for a while and move into a van with my wife and explore nature. In case you see some of these works already started and I'm missing part, it's because I'm constantly working and painting, and then when Valentina has time she can come with the camera and interact, and I can share some of the information I've been going through with you. Some videos like the one painting a nest that I found, if you haven't checked that out, click here. That I started on camera because I was there close to the car and everything was visible from the beginning. In this case I started painting and then the camera came to record a little bit of it. Everything is gonna be like dynamic like that. If you want to spend time with me in the studio where I can teach you all I'm doing and the brushwork, you can go to my website cesarsantos.com, and there I have portraiture and I have other examples and principles that you can use to improve your skills as you endeavor into this artistic world. If you study any area long enough, you're gonna start seeing more into it. You're gonna start seeing cool colors that you didn't realize at first, warm areas, patches, color combination that you can play around in different places. I mean, you're gonna keep developing it. Never stop before you are full with the experience. This is very similar to music. All the little notes that I'm playing here, they have to create an organic relationship with each other. Nothing here is by itself. This is what we are doing with this. We are composing notes. Don't think flowers, little dots, and then I'm doing this because the moment you do this, you get lost. Every brushstroke has to have an intention. The moment it's getting random, then go particular and see if you can look for elements that can develop it into what you were feeling.
Cheers.
Valentina, you got here late again. I already started the painting. But since you're here, I can talk about what I'm doing. So basically, what I did was I sat here. It's not the perfect time to paint because it's like the middle of the day. It's past 1, but I was working on that other piece in the morning with a guy that cut the grass, and now I'm trying to see if I can look into the distance with certain layers of bushes and like levels, playing fields of colors that is really beautiful, and also textures. The thing in front of us going up and down, crispy, a lot of change in hue at the beginning, and then as things recede into the distance, they get more of that space color. Today it's a little bit cloudy. They said it was gonna rain, but it hasn't rained. So I did the first layer, and now I'm working again over it, adjusting the values of the big masses. I have to be very careful with any strong greens that I see in the distance. When I relate it to the things in the front, then they seem really blue. At first glance, when you're looking at them, it looks pretty green. I want to paint over this trimmed area with horizontal marks. That way it gives the sense that it's just very short, flat, kind of laying down instead of coming up like the rest of the plants. The range within the bottom area, let's say the range within this, just this flat plane here closer to me, has to remain very close to itself. Like all the changes here have to be very subtle, because if you increase the changes here as I see it, then I'm gonna miss the range I have on the other parts that has more variety to it. So I gotta be able to compress stuff into their plane so that each area belongs to their space in front of us. Every day I go out, I just put different colors on my palette to just see if I can just find what I'm looking at with the colors I have, and not being so conscious of the name and the same set palette that I used to work with. Since the brush is the tool, we can use the front of it, or we can use the back of it, or the side of it. No, just kidding. No, but really, like, try to see whatever you need to grasp. Like right now, I want to get the aspect of the little spiky grass that has been cut, and maybe the stiffness of the back of the brush actually gives me the right energy for those little spiky grass elements. And even if it's not visible, maybe at first or with the camera, after a while, they develop the essence of what they're representing. Because that's what's happening in nature. It's very subtle, but it's actually describing itself, you know, because of the way it's existing. Once I established the main forms, which I'm still struggling to achieve, then I will add details. But right now I keep playing with temperature, I keep playing with the idea of volume, and how do I simplify each little mass and grouping. You have to decide on the grouping of things, what things go with what, and the way you put them together in a way that makes sense to the viewer. Once we look at this scene as a spectator, we're confused by all the little things happening. But once you start organizing it, then you can describe each plane, each form individually. And that's what I'm trying to figure out now, because it's so much variation within each plane that compressing it is where the answer is. Then I can go and describe the tactile sensation of each individual kind of feeling of how it would feel if you would touch it. But first I have to make sure that this kind of design works together.